up? It's Nerfinator again. I'm bringing you a bit of a kind of a tutorial, kind of a how-to, more or less. I've kind of gone over this some in my videos in the past with the hammer shot mod guide and repaint video, but I thought I would kind of cover it a little bit more in depth as far as the exact techniques that go into it and the updated techniques that I'm using now, and how it looks much better now than when I started a while back. So I thought I would show you guys how to weather your blasters and the benefits of weathering your blasters, and why I think excuse me, and why I think it is not really essential, but a very good way to tell a story behind your blaster and show kind of where your blaster's been. Tell some sort of a story behind it and give your blaster a lot of character. Make it really cool. So we're going to go start with the unweathered shell, the clean side of the shell. I've already weathered the other half of this shell. You can tell that this is completely unweathered and it's nice and clean. And I think it turned out pretty good. This is going to be called zombie repellent, and I think it's gonna be a really sweet blaster when I'm done with it. Now this side has been completely weathered and is ready for clear coat as soon as I can get around to it. Now you can see I've got dry brushing all over it, silver dry brushing, make it look like a metal finish underneath. And of course I've got lots of dirt and grime in the crevices to give this thing character. You can see up there, nice dirt and grime. And if you hold them up side by side, see if I can get this where it will look nicely. Alright, there we go. If you hold them up side by side, you can tell just how much of a difference weathering makes. I mean, it's absolutely night and day. It's something else. If you look at the bottom of it, look at that. Night and day. Weathered and character and awesome. And then we've got clean, and it's nice and clean and it's okay, but this looks absolutely beautiful versus this that is clean. So now both sides look perfectly fine. However, it's just a matter of personal preference as to whether you want to weather your blaster or not. Now personally, I like to weather my blaster because, like I said, it tells a story and it just looks so much more like they belong in the real world instead of taking up space on a shelf as an art object, which, I mean, I don't complain about. There are plenty of blasters out there that are absolute works of art, and they should be hung on a shelf or on pegboard or someplace where you can display them. And this would look absolutely fine on a shelf or on somebody's wall, displayed for all to see. In fact, either one of these would. So it just comes down to personal preference. Now, if you want to know how to weather your blasters, then you're in the right place, because that is what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm going to go ahead and set aside the weathered portion, and I'm going to show you how to weather your blaster. So we're going to start with a light silver dry brushing. When you dry brush, you need a clean paper towel. And you also need a paint that will resemble the color of the metal or material that you want your gun to be made out of, as far as where your gun is going to be. if you're telling a story, your gun needs to be a certain type of gun. You have to say it's made out of some kind of either weird alien material, or it's made out of some sort of exotic metal. Now this is, of course, a zombie slaying hammer shot. It's a Old West style revolver, so of course it's made out of like steel and stuff like that. So I have this metallic aluminum paint from Testors. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's like $2 for this little jar of paint, and it goes quite a ways because you don't hardly need any of it. Now I also used this paint for the some of the detail work. I did all the bolts and some of the vents there in this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and shake this up. You really want to shake this up good. You want to make sure that you've got it nice and mixed, because it does separate over time, and so you want to make sure you get it nice and mixed before you start your painting. So now we've got our paint and we've got our washcloth, not washcloth, paper towel. What we're going to do is we're going to pick a paintbrush, which I've gone ahead and done this paintbrush right here. Now I've been using this paintbrush already on the other side of the shell. I'm going to show you what to do. You just now a lot of times there's going to be a little bit of paint either around the edge of your bottle, or you can do something really simple. You just get the lid of the paint, just kind of get a little bit of paint on your brush, scrape some off of the bottom of the lid there, and then you take your paper towel and you wipe most of the paint off your brush. Now you want to make sure that when you're you'll know you've wiped enough paint off your brush when your brush is hardly leaving any paint behind on the paper towel. Now when you dry brush, this is really simple. You just drag it across the edge. Just like that. Now you can see we're starting to get a bit of, see if it'll focus, starting to get a bit of a silver hue to it, and then eventually it will look like a natural scratch in the paint. And there you go. Got a nice little scratch in the paint. Focus. There we go. Kind of focus. You can see we've got a nice little scratch in the paint there. Now I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'll show you what it looks like from there. Now I've done a little bit more. You can see I've done some down here, and I did a little heavier up here. And now I'm going to go over the Hammer Shot logo itself. And I'm going to show you how that looks. Okay, so you can see it kind of highlighted hammer shot there on the shell, and it looks really nice. Now I didn't do a whole lot because later on I'm going to go and wash this with some brown and mixed with a little bit of black. That will take care of a lot of the rest of the weathering. Now if you want, you can just dry brush your blaster and it will look great. In fact, I've known several people to just dry brush their blaster and it looks awesome. But of course, you can also go through and weather it completely with more pigment and paint and just really make it shine. Now I'm going to put just a little bit more dry brushing on the hammer shot logo. There we go. That really kind of brings it out. I'm going to put a little bit up here. There you go. See if you can kind of see that there. Yeah. Looks real nice. Now I'm not going to do it everywhere because I am going to do some more dry brushing after I do the wash, like I said. But this video is kind of intended to show you what dry brushing should look like. I have seen some videos on YouTube. People say do what they call dry brushing, and it's really more wet brushing. They've got too much pigment on their brush, and it turns out a little bit too heavy. You got to make sure that there's almost no paint on your brush before you start dry brushing, because otherwise it's not dry brushing. A good rule of thumb when you're working with paint is you can always add more, but it's really hard to take some away. So when you're working with dry brushing and weathering, see if it'll show up on camera. Yeah, see? Right there on the tip, I didn't hardly put any paint on there, and I've got almost no paint on my brush, but it still looks really good. And that's because in real life there wouldn't be a whole lot of dents and scratches all over your blaster. It would be as it naturally wears away and the paint disappears. So you don't want a whole lot of dry brushing on your blaster. You want just a little bit. You can do more if it's supposed to be really beat up and like it's been through a lot. But in general, you don't need a whole lot of dry brushing. Just on the highlights and everything, just on the outer edges and anything that's really kind of sticking up above anything else, we'll need probably a little bit of dry brushing, but not a whole lot. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. The next video is going to be about doing a wash, and so the wash is if you really want to add a little bit of dirt and grime to your blaster and make it seem a little bit more realistic, like it's been out in the world for a little bit longer. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comments below. If you guys notice, I didn't do my mod of the week in this video. That's because it's coming up in the next video, which I will be uploading directly after this one. So it's not going to take long to edit this one, and then it's not going to take long to edit the other one either. So I'm just going to toss in my weekly mod into the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Look forward to the next one coming immediately after this one, and that'll be how to completely do a full wash of your blaster and really make it nice and dirty and grimy and make it look really cool. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and this is Nerfinator signing off.